Anthony Harwig here with a champion girls basketball player profile. I'm joined by senior Emma Gumont. Emma, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
What's it like being a senior and going through this season and kind of trying to take it all in, knowing that you're doing everything for the last time?
It's definitely difficult knowing that we've had some things taken away from us this year, but I think we've made the most of it and we can't just be sad about it. So I think we're making the best of what we can.
You guys had to wait a long time for your first game with the Trumbull County shutdown and everything that went on with that. What was it like to finally get on the court and finally be able to compete with somebody that wasn't yourselves?
Yeah, I think we definitely jumped into it pretty late, but we practiced really hard and got to where we needed to be. But it was definitely difficult coming back because our first game was LeBray and they already played games before we did. So we were kind of nervous going into that, but we did get the win. I think everyone stepped up to the plate and played really hard, so we did pretty well in the beginning.
Yeah, and it did start off kind of rocky. I mean, I had your game at Poland. It was maybe your third or fourth game. But then, I have a game last week, and it seems like you guys have really found an identity, a lot of new faces on that varsity team. What's it been like finding that groove so quickly and seeing a lot of people just kind of accept their roles this year?
Yeah, we definitely have some new faces on the court this year, and it's really hard actually to kind of get the mold back in just because we had such a good bond last year, and just bringing new girls in was definitely rough. And Poland's a great team. They're a really good team. I think we're just like, because we started so late, we're just now getting into it. But I wish we had more time, but there's nothing really we could do. So I think we're making the most of what we can.
We'll talk about hitting your stride at the right time. We're heading into tournaments. You guys look like you guys have figured a lot of things out. You're the reigning district champions. What's it feel like kind of getting back in that tournament mode?
Well, we just came off a hard loss against LeBray, so we're all pretty down. We really just have to put that behind us and really step up our game for tournaments.
Last year you had a pretty good tournament run. I think you scored over 30 points in the district championship game. The bright light's never too much for you. What kind of things kind of go into preparing for the big games like that?
Well, especially this year, just because all the things that are going on, starting late, new players on our in our starting five, we really just have to focus on like each other more than ourselves because we can't win a game off of just me. We can't win a game off just Brooke Witt. We can't. We have to all work together. So I think that's our main focus of just forming a good bond with each other.
Last year you were one of the statistical leaders, but you had a lot of seniors on that team. So you had some leadership help. This year you're the senior, a lot of new faces. I imagine you've had to step into a new kind of leadership role. What's that been like this year?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been, I would say, a leader for every year, but this year is really important just because of the new faces, and I have to be, because we're all the new girls are seniors, but we've never really played with each other. So we really are just we've always been playing against each other in practices and scrimmages and stuff, but it's different when you're on the same side. So I'm trying to step up for them too, just because we know how each other play, but when we're on the same side, it's difficult because everyone has their own skills.
There is a ultimate winning culture in Champion, especially with the girls sports programs. Everyone knows what the softball program's all about. Basketball is always in the district conversation. Your district champs last year. What do you think that winning culture of the whole school system kind of drives from?
Um, I definitely think everyone works we practice together and stuff, but everyone works hard on their own, and that really comes into play when you come together finally, especially during COVID, because everyone did have to work on their own this year. But we have a lot of girls who do travel sports who always I play with Lauren and Brooke Whip right now for travel softball. So we have that bond in every sport. So that really helps.
When you look at this coaching staff, I think it's one of the more respected coaching staffs that in the area that you guys have. What's it like being under them, and what are some things that maybe we don't get to see from YSN's perspective? We just see them on the sidelines. What are some behind the scenes things about this coaching staff?
I know during COVID, we did a lot of Zooms, like with each other, just because we couldn't see each other, and that really helped. That was good. Um, in practices, we tend to scrimmage like every day, and I think that's something that is amazing, just because playing against like another team is so like that really prepares you like game situation type things. So I really like that coaching method just because we are always moving. We're not just like doing drills all practice. We're always moving, and that really helps.
What kind of personal goals did you set for yourself coming into this season, last basketball year? What kind of things did you want to accomplish?
Well, last year I hit my 1,000 points. So I this year I really just wanted to focus on my teammates and their success because I know because of the new faces on the court, we really had some girls who needed the extra encouragement to be better and be the best they could be. So I really focused on them and preparing them so we would have a good season.
How hard was that during the COVID, the uncertainty of basketball season? Before November, we didn't even know if we'd have a basketball season. How hard was that to kind of mentally prepare to try to encourage everyone, keep everyone positive, and keep everyone focused on the basketball season?
That's something that I really enjoyed actually because I love being like the leader in situations and like when times get rough, I enjoy like picking everyone up. But this year was definitely a good experience for that to happen just because everyone we weren't allowed to hang out. It was so weird. But we did have our group chat and we always texted in that, making sure everyone was doing okay and their schoolwork and everything. So social media really helped.
Do you think going through that experience has helped you guys kind of treasure the time together even more and not take anything for granted this year?
Oh, for sure. We definitely went into this season taking it game by game and making sure, like, just being grateful that we have 5 girls to even play and another 5 to come play us. So we take the little things for granted sometimes, and we made sure we didn't this year.
What excites you most about tournament time and the fact that it's starting to gear up and that pressure of win or go home kind of sets in?
Yeah, it's definitely stressful because of everything, but I think we're at a good point right now that we're starting to hit our peak. So we really are ready to go into tournaments.
You brought up travel softball. Last year, all the spring sport athletes lost the season. How excited are you to kind of look ahead to spring and know that hopefully this year you're going to get a season?
Yeah. Um, I know since we did soccer and basketball, I kind of have like high hopes for softball just because it's less contact and it's outside. We have pretty good chances to play, and I'm excited to be able to do that.
What's it like being a multi-sport athlete and going from soccer to basketball to softball and this trying to switch your mindset right between each season and get focused on basketball when it's basketball, focus on soccer when it's soccer, or softball when it's softball?
Yeah. Well, for me, softball is kind of like an all year round thing. So like after basketball, I always have softball, or after soccer, I always have softball. So I've always been like the softball brain, but I usually switch pretty easily. I can usually, when it's basketball or soccer, I can usually like really tone in for them.
The other thing that goes into that is the time management and making sure the schoolwork is there. How have you handled being a multi-sport athlete and all the other stuff that comes with being a student athlete?
Well, this year, since we only got 2 days, it's been a little easier just because you have this 3 extra days to catch up. Being at home, you can do your work anytime you want. But I've never really had a problem. I've always been able to balance it pretty well.
What makes you so proud to represent Champion, go to that school system, wear the purple and gold, and wear the Flash's name across your chest?
Well, I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do if I didn't have like the friends I have around me. We all make the most of every situation, and I love playing with them on the court and seeing them in school.
The community in Champion is just ridiculously supportive. Talk about some of the ways you guys have still felt that, even though they can't be in the field, in the gym. with you physically?
Well, since we have them on YouTube this year, I feel the support because I have so many people texting me, "Hey, even though we can't come, we're watching you. You're doing great." So they're still taking their time out of their day to watch our games and text us and encourage us all the time.
When you look back on your 4 years with this basketball program, what are some of your favorite memories you have with them, and memories that you think will last a lifetime?
My favorite was definitely when we played Garfield for the district last year. I'm pretty sure that was right. But we had before and after the game, we were in the locker room. It was at Lakeview. We were so hyped, and after the game, it was so exciting. The memories I'll never forget.
And then when you look back at just the time at Champion, what about some of the memories just overall outside of just basketball, just your time at the school?
Well, this year has been really rough because we haven't been able to do anything. But the last 3 years, I've been really involved in student sections and clubs and all that. So I'm glad I did that before this year, and I didn't just like do it all this year. But I've been really involved in everything, and it's been fun.
With all these player profiles, we like to give the player the chance to thank their support system, the people that have been there for them through the years. So just want to give you the time to thank whoever you want to thank.
I thank all my soccer, basketball, and softball coaches for everything they've taught me, my mom and dad, and my sister, and all my friends and teammates.
Before we let you go, let's get to know you a little bit. Do you have any like pregame routines that you like to stick to, or are you superstitious at all with your routines?
Not really. Most people are, but I'm really not. I really don't do anything the same.
What's
No.
your pregame playlist look like? What kind of music gets you hyped up?
Oh, Brooke is my go-to. She always gives me great music. I would say rap for sure.
Do you have like one song that no matter what time you hear it, it's always gonna get you jazzed?
Actually, our team song, we always listen to Game Time. Like we listen to a whole bunch of different songs, but like right when we get to the school, we'll put on Game Time and we'll all get really hyped.
You have a favorite pre/post game meal that you like to always get after or before a game?
Usually after every game, I have grilled chicken.
Okay, now here's a social media question from yesterday. So I'm gonna have you pick one of your teammates. If you had to pick any of your teammates, no matter what sport it was, to have by your side in a snowball fight, who would you pick?
Brooke Witt.
All
For
right.
sure.
Who were some of the players that you looked up to when you were coming up in your career, middle school, elementary, things like that? Who were some players in any sport that you kind of looked at and idolized?
Well, I actually got to play with one of my teammates that I really looked up to is Megan Turner and Abby White. I got to play with both of them, so I was really happy about that. But they definitely always pushed me to be the best I could be and made me want to be them.
When you look at the seniors that you guys have had at Champion over the last 4 years, what have they taught you as far as leadership that you take into your senior leadership now?
Definitely always want to make sure you watch what you're doing on and off the court because there's always younger kids who are looking at you. So every move you make, they're always going to see, and anyone else that you always just want to do something that they will look up to you.
Do you feel that especially during softball season with all the success the Champion has had, and you know that there are people in the young Champion community that really want to be a part of that someday, and they're looking at you guys like role models?
Yeah, I remember freshman year during the state game, like rewatching it. When I hit my grand slam, all these little kids were in the stands cheering, so I won't forget that.
What's that like, kind of like knowing that like there are young girls watching you and wanting to be like you one day?
And that's just like a pure example of it because you don't always see like the little kids looking, but like that was really made me like realize that people are watching, and it's such a good feeling that people are looking up to you.
Of course, you're a student athlete as well. So, what's your favorite subject in school to round things off?
Mm, English.
Do you have any teachers over your high school career that have really impacted you and who you are right now?
Mrs. Majosis and Mrs. Bronson. Mrs. Bronson was my middle school English teacher, and Mrs. Majosis is my math teacher in high school.
That's interesting because I was going to ask because you like English, and a lot of people I ask that say English also don't really like math. Are you someone that really excels in English and has to really work at math?
Math is not my favorite, but I'm pretty good at it. I wouldn't say I'm horrible at it, but it's not my favorite. I would not choose that to be my favorite.
All right, what about future goals after high school? Where do you want to see yourself in the next couple of years?
Well, I'm going to play softball at Notre Dame College. So I'm really, one of my goals for there is just to be a leader and make my team successful. And then I plan to major in business. So
Awesome, Emma. Good luck the rest of the season in tournaments and the rest of the softball season and all your future endeavors. And we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
thank you.